Hey Scooter fam, this is Landaddy. I'm not gonna say that.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Hey Scooter fam, this is Landaddy, Landan coming at you, fresh off the Tournament of Power Daylon Max fantastic event. So thank you. No, that doesn't work either. Jose, why is it so hard? Hey Scooter fam, this is Captain Landan coming at you. My hair goes this way, right? So I'm gonna start from this. Okay. Hey Scooter fam, this is Landaddy coming at you, fresh back. Well, a week ago from the Daylon Mac Tournament of Power, so shoutouts to him and to Marcus and to the rest of the team. Around Lair for a fantastic event. We played and we're quite looking forward to the no banned, no errated team event, which, lucky for us, went undefeated in Swiss, losing out in the semifinals. Good game, but just wasn't God's plan at the time. Anyways, here is the undefeated in Swiss for the team event, no banned, no errata deck list for slotting. So for this event, the three decks we chose were Jiren, Mecha Frieza, and the Beerus Leader, which profiles will also be uploaded to this channel. All three decks were meant to complement each other. So Mecha Frieza was supposed to have a good matchup against the blue Hercule ramp decks and really anything in between. Blue was supposed to have a good matchup against pretty much everything else, from Hatch to Jiren, and Jiren was meant to have a great matchup against Mecha Frieza. So with that in mind, the deck is mostly just a wall-up deck, so you don't die to Mecha, with a few techs in there to hopefully help against the blue ramp strategies. Getting into the profile, if you don't know what Jiren does already, he is the thickest of boys, and he just does not die. I think he feels a lot like Burning Abyss if you ever played Yu-Gi-Oh!, where you just play a bunch of stuff for free, and everything's a floater, and it's absolutely wonderful. So what the leader ends up doing is you just, when you swing, you take a life, and you can play a 2-drop or lower Universe 11 from your hand with its skills not negated, or you can just draw a card and gain 5k power for the duration of the battle. When he awakens, untap, draw one, and activate battle during either player's turn. You can, as long as you control, or not necessarily, you can choose one card in your life, add it to your hand, and as long as you control a U11 battle card, you do not die from any type of battle damage. Fantastic at prolonging the game. So here's the thick boy. It's beautiful mat too. We also ended up playing the best card in the deck. If you don't play it now, please do. Binary Blade Casserole. He is the best floater in this game. What you do is when you play it, so off the leader effect, or if you hardcast it, you end up playing a 1-drop Universe 11 from your deck with its skills negated, and this can happen not once per turn. It can happen as many times as you can either play the card or you can sacrifice it from Successor. So if you're able to stack multiple of these off of a Dispo Successor, you can get 2 1-drops from your deck to the field. So open this, try and mulligan for it, because it is the best starter card you can hope to find. For our 1-drops, we played 2 of the Kunchi Threaded Energy, which is your key 1-drop card, giving everything 2 or less barrier, making it nearly impossible for most decks to deal with any of your tiny weenies who are barrier blockers. So play 2 of these. We played 1 Coquette Technique Unleashed. This is just to kind of help your cost count, so it makes it easier to go into your finishers, like the Xeno Cell. We played 3 of the Vuan Dynamic Blaster blocker. Just another 1-drop barrier blocker that you can get out as long as you have Kunchi. To wall up even further, we have one of the MVPs of the deck, the Heroic Combination, Zoire, who says that once per turn he cannot be destroyed by battle. Which means you can block, if you get stick multiple of these on the board, you can have pretty much 3 to 4 indestructible blockers. Just block one attack with one, block the next one with the next one, so they can't even get around to trying to kill the one that has already been attacked once. 4 of those. The next U11, we have our 2 Jirens, who serve to revive our fallen comrades. The first Jiren is from the tournament pack, or tournament packs. I guess this is what, set 9 tournament packs. You can discard this from your hand to play 2 1-drop Universe 11s from the drop area with their skills negated for the duration of the turn. So you can save these in hand, and if your opponent ever breaks through some of your 1-drop barriers or somehow kills your Kunchi that provides the barrier, you can ditch this from hand and just wall up with more blockers and barrier cards as needed. The best Jiren card has deflect, can't interact with it. When you play it, cost of 3, so tap for 3, you can play 2 or lower Universal 11 cards from your drop area to the battle area, which means you can cycle back Kunchis, you can cycle back Zores, you can grab back your super combos or any one drops in between. And he's a 20k beat stick deflect body. Again, the whole point of the deck, keep those barrier blockers alive. Our mini successor of choice was Dispo, who pairs excellently with itself and with Casserole. It's a 4-cost successor. You sack it for a yellow, or sack your requirements for a yellow, play the Dispo, draw a card, and activate whatever other effects you have for the successor keywords. If you can resolve multiples on top of each other, you just draw 2 cards. For a removal and alternative successor card, we have Belmod, Double Devastation. When he's played, you sack 3 cards and he KOs a battle card, so just another way to trigger a lot of these Universal 11 cards that activate when they're sent by a skill. So from Dispo to Casserole again, and just another 4-drop in case we need to manipulate our cost. We went in knowing that for the most part every matchup should be okay, especially if it's an aggressive matchup. I was a little bit worried, and rightfully so, about Hatchiyak, which I ended up losing to in the semifinals. But to try and hopefully navigate that strategy, we played 2 of the, set 4 Jiren, which becomes a 6-drop when you have a certain amount of Universal 11 in the drop area, and when it attacks, your opponent can't activate counter or blocker, which seemed perfectly ideal for dealing with the Hatchiyak matchup. And it was if I could ever get it off, but it never happened. Obviously, our secret rare of choice was the Xeno Cell. With this deck, especially when you're just walling up and playing a bunch of stuff for free, it's super, super, super easy to, 1, get to the 5 energy required to get the discard 3 and dual attack from the cell, or just to get there in general if you can try and get an early kill. Otherwise, most of the time you're just going to be resolving the effect, getting 3 cards out of your opponent's hand and getting a quad strike dual attack. To complement the cell, we played 1 cooler. I wish I had played more because it was fantastic. Just drop the cell, and then if they have any type of response, either a counterplay or a negate for the cell, you just cooler it with the 3 energy, and your attacks go through. I do wish I played more though. He was a wonderful card. I see why people like him. For our ban card lineup, we played the OG Swap Chain. 2 Grandpa Gohans, 1 Bardock the Progenitor, 4 of, rightfully so, the rest in peace Scrambling Assault Son Goten, and then 2 Successor of Hope to search out these pieces. Grandpa Gohan, another blocker, just general 1-cost swap card. We only played 1 Bardock to take a life because Jiren 1 already does that. On its awakened side or unawakened side, you can take a life in order to win your attack. If you're playing against a bunch of banned cards, it didn't seem right to just want to start ripping your own life if your opponent's going to try and be doing that anyway. We just included 1 of these, 1 because it was searchable off of Successor of Hope, and 2 mostly for the Mecha Frieza matchup, where if they attack with a triple strike, or want to attack you with the triple strike to deal as most damage so you can get down to 2 life and then not die, or it'll be easier to kill you from there on out. The general strategy for that triple strike attack was to get you to 6 life, wait for you to attack the next turn to get yourself down to 5, and then come at you with a triple strike on their turn to get you from 5 to 2. So if that was what they were trying to line up, we would play 1 Bardock to get ourselves from 6 to 5 on the turn that they leave us at 6, and then attack the leader to get us to 4, and so we can awaken ourselves before that triple strike comes through. I've been seeing a lot of chat recently on the discussion group about if Goten should ever come back. Let me tell you, sweethearts, it should never come back. This card was amazing. I do wish it could come back, but it's not going to. Every game I was able to find my secret rare with this card by maybe turn 3 or 4, if I hadn't seen it already. With all these blockers in here, it was super easy to just protect this Goten at all costs, and if I let them kill it, it's because I had another one in hand and would just get out anyways. And then of course 2 successors to just help thin the deck and find some of these swap pieces. Our super combos of choice were 2 Key Bomb Support Coquette for the Universe 11 tag, which paired nicely with this Jiren to bring it back from the drop if we never needed to. And then 2 of the Zamasu Super Combo, which was just there to help survive against random things, whether it be like random people playing the Gohan leader, or Hatch to help tap down their blockers so you can kind of push for more damage, or really anything in between to just stop a lot of those attacks. We only played one real silver bullet, and this is mostly for the blue matchup, where they could, if they open Hercule and Flute, they could just ramp from 2 to like 12 energy in one turn, which he will lose to. Our teammate Alex played the deck, and his finisher of choice, besides the secret rare, was Android 21, which obviously, if you can drop an Android 21 on turn 3, your opponent's not going to recover from that at all. So the only way that I figured I could ever, if I ever played someone who was also running the blue ramp strategy, was to put in these and hope to God that I drew them on turn 1, and it was enough to survive just a little bit to get my damage in too. And then we just played 5 negates to help round it all out with the time magic for random, if there's any Shenron leaders out there, if they ever got to their going off turn and somehow could do triple attack or something like that, and then 4 Nimbus to just survive even further. It was a very, very solid deck. I think the only game I actually dropped was in the semifinals. Everything else either was a win or just went to time, or before my teammates could finish them off, just because I could wall up and never die. Wouldn't change a thing except for maybe adding another cooler. And I really, 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 really hope we do more band events, because this was an amazing event. Shoutouts. 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 Shoutouts to shoutouts. Shoutouts.
Wait, start with the wait before you go. Shoutouts.
Timeout, boys and girls. Shoutouts as well. No. Hold up. Shoutouts. Shoutouts to my fam at the Scooter Report, to my fam in Arizona, also on the Scooter Report, or my favorite locals, Top Caliber Gaming. And shout out to Shenron's Lair and Daylon Mac again for hosting such an amazing event. Wouldn't miss it for the world, and hope they keep doing it. Love you all.